missing a few folks. This feels weird. I'm always behind the desk. We're missing a couple of people, but we're going to go ahead and get started to be mindful of our guest time. Hopefully you all got my email today, yes? And we're going to follow it, yes? Awesome, thank you. All right, so we are very fortunate to have Glenn Costas with us tonight. He is the Vice President for Development and Alumni Relations at Bellarmine. So one of the great things about this is that we are going to get a perspective from a different type of institution than U of L, right? Because most of us work here, most of us have been here for a while, and this is the structure that we know. And so as we have talked about all of these different types of structures, it would be really helpful to see what it looks like at a smaller institution, private institution, with all different kind of components. And so Glenn is our expert in alumni and development, so please feel free to ask him any questions that you have, and he will also share with you all some of his background and those types of things, since you all had asked to know that. And please feel free to engage with him with questions. And you have the clicker right here, and it's all you whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much. I had the honor of meeting Dr. Pardon last summer. I'm in the PhD in Higher Education Leadership program at Bellarmine, and she taught our assessment class. And you all are nicer than we are, because we all sat in the very back the entire time.
Yes, they did.
Well, I feel guilty about it, but two of the folks in the back were teachers at Bellarmine, and I thought if they're sitting in the back, then I can sit in the back too. But I'm like, that's the case. But no, so I really enjoyed her class, and she asked me to come and talk about this. I'm not a big PowerPoint person. I have like 30 slides, but they're pretty boring slides. I put them together because it keeps me on track. Otherwise, I can talk and I could be here till I'm long. So it helps me stay on track. But I thought I'd tell you a bit about myself first, and then I would love to hear more about you guys before then we'll go on from there. And then ask me any questions, because after I put this together, I brought this together about how I view the alumni development function. I didn't have much prepared on the relationship of our office with the university and the board of trustees, nor the smaller school versus larger school. And I can talk a little bit about both those at the end. So if you want to remind me, I can address those things. So me personally, I've been at Bellarmine since 2005 as the Vice President for Development and Alumni Relations. I'm currently, as I said, a PhD student in the Higher Education Administration and Leadership program at Bellarmine. I have my master's from U of L in the same course here, the Higher Education Management course degrees, and I got that in 2007. From about 2002 to 2007, I was doing it for a long time, about one class a semester. But at that point, for most of those years I worked at U of L, I was the Associate Vice President for Development here from 2001 to 2005, so for 4 years I was the AVP. And then before that, I spent 14 years in development, but not in education. I was with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, which is based in Memphis, Tennessee, but I graduated from Notre Dame in 1987, and I was looking for a job, and they had a regional office in New Albany, and they hired me for almost nothing, but they had a company car because I had to travel through 5 states, and I learned how to do fundraising, and I thought I'd do it for a couple of years and do something else, but I had success with them, and I went to Memphis for about 4 years, came back to Louisville as the regional director. So after about 14 years of that, opportunity came here, and I switched to education, and I think higher education is a great place to work, even with all the issues and the cuts and all. And I'm assuming most of you guys work in higher ed, but it's fun working around smart people. It's fun working with people who have new ideas and new concepts constantly. I've never worked for a stockholder. I've always been in a nonprofit or a educational setting. I really enjoy that. The fact that every day I'm thinking we're helping. I've saved lives and I've changed lives. And that's pretty cool. And that beats to me than trying to worry about shareholder price and margins and stuff in the night. So I like that. So that's me. I can't believe I can say this year that'll be 30 years in this business. And it's just, I don't know how the heck that happened, but I'm like an old man now. It's really kind of scary. But I'm like I have 3 daughters in their 20s, and one of them referred to us and said, "They had the olden days." And I'm like, come on, the 70s and the late 60s weren't the olden days, that's for my dad. But anyway, enough. That's why I have slides, so I keep telling stories. So tell me about you all, what your roles, if you're here or where else you are, what your roles are.
Like most people in here, I'm in the higher ed administration program, and I'm a graduate assistant in the same department.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm in the higher ed administration program as well, and I intern at IU Southeast in New Albany with the study abroad program.
Okay.
I'm in the higher education with a concentration in sport administration, and I work in the athletic department here, interning with career and leadership development for them.
Okay. One of the guys on my team has his PhD in that program. Sometimes he teaches over here too. You want to see him?
I'm in higher ed as well, and I'm the graduate assistant in communications and marketing.
Okay. Who's you?
College student personnel, second year. I'm the graduate assistant and the career development center.
Okay.
All the same things. I'm in the college student personnel program, and I'm also a GA in the career development center.
And I'm also in the CSP program, and I'm a GA in the Office of Student Involvement with Leadership and Service Programs.
Okay.
Right, I'm from Pakistan and even though I'm not working right now and I've been a part of higher education system in Pakistan, I was part of faculty. So I was trying to learn system here.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm a faculty in the dental school, but I'm third year PhD student in the education program, the PhD and focus on innovation.
I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I take two classes per semester.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't consider names. I'm Jean
Okay.
Carroll. I'm in undergraduate admissions, and I am in the higher ed doctoral program. My work focus is dual enrollment. I have APs and RSU high school teachers.
Excellent.
I'm Amanda, I'm a doctoral candidate in the same program as Jean Higher.
Okay.
And-
So, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I just, I'm a graduate student too.
Okay. So, with a few exceptions, all you guys are full-time students, right? Are you doing it full-time? Okay. When I went through the program, it was easy, a 50-50 split with, like, because I did one class a semester. I was working full-time, I had little kids at home and all, and so I was, non-traditional going through. And I got lapped like 3 times by the people that are on the 2-year track, like these faces, and they're gone again, and there's still a same group of 6 of us that are, oh, hey, what's up? And here we are again. And when we came in, and Dr. Parton had us realize that she probably lapped me halfway through, and we crossed paths in the program at some point. So, well, that's cool. So it's that helps me with the background. Has anybody been involved with the development office here at U of L or your undergrads? Did anybody do a phonathon when they were an undergraduate student, made the calls? You did phonathon?
I hope to look on.
Okay. Usually a lot of those, so that's what about, has anybody done any kind of fundraising? Like, you have? Who else? Anybody, any things with any boards you're on, or organizations, or so that kind of stuff? So one of the things we'll talk about is there's a difference between fundraising and development. And development is when you work with people in the right places and the right ideas to put an idea together. And fundraising is much more like the phonathon would be fundraising probably, or if there's Girl Scout cookie sales or whatever. So think about the difference here between fundraising and development. That's where our development comes, because especially on a higher ed campus, all these ideas are developed. You put them together and you develop ideas. So, my agenda, we just did the first part of that, the introductions. I'm going to do, this is a short overview of the giving landscape, how it's working right now. Big picture stuff about income, about dollars and where it comes from. A brief review of your class reading, and then I'll tell you what it's really about. And then you can take any questions. So giving, these are some stats, big picture. In 2015, there's $373 billion in the United States given to charitable causes. It's a big piece of pie. There's a lot of money that's given charitably. And you can see it's raising. From 1975, it's at 45, about 25 million. I guess that's the recession here. It did drop precipitously. And I know probably everybody here in your felt the recession, and we felt it horribly. It was a bad time. But it's picked back up considerably since then. So there's a lot of money that is being given. Here's how it's given. So is there a doohickey on this?
I think so. Yeah.
Look at that. So this piece of pie, and this religion is the biggest piece. A third of that, 30% goes to charitable, to religious causes. The next biggest piece is education, 15%. Then human services, that would account for social services you see around town here. Then foundations, and it gets smaller, health, public, all kinds of little things there. So again, of that $373 billion pie, you've got 15%, and by this group, it's $57 billion going to education. So it's a lot of money we're talking about in the big picture. So the total giving to higher ed is increasing, but the number of alumni who participate and the number of people who give back is decreasing. So we have this opposite thing happening where the number of donors is going down and the amount of money is going up. More people are giving, fewer people are giving more money. In the last couple of years, 52 universities across the country were engaged in capital campaigns with $1 billion goals or more. Now U of L finished theirs 2 years ago, I think, and it was $1 billion campaign. My father's also a Notre Dame alum, and 3 years ago they finished their $8 billion campaign. And Dad's like, so Glenn, how many gifts at $5 million or more do you have in your campaign at Bellarmine? I'm like, one, Dad. You know? He's like, they had 164 Notre Dame. I'm like, shut up. You know, it's like, it doesn't help me a bit. So in college 2 years ago, raised $38 billion, which is 10% over last year. So they're raising, the university raised a lot of money. And I'll tell you, the rich are getting richer, and the other schools, we raise a lot of money, but we don't raise anywhere close to those numbers. And the schools like the Stanfords and Dukes and the Yales and the Notre Dames are, you know, they take U of L's $1 billion campaign and lap it 10 and 20 times. And then they finish the campaign and start over again. Obviously, Bellamy needs to start a hedge fund school because we don't have any hedge fund managers. That's what those guys just give. Like, so this last week, Phil Knight, the guy at Nike who did all the Oregon, you know, the Oregon football uniforms at college, he gave $500 million to Oregon. Okay, that's going to fund 400 faculty and staff positions and 4 new buildings.
Wow.
Okay, so think of that. So then to go to say, okay, whatever, the Gates gave $210 million to their alma mater, Washington. Or it's like, are you kidding me? Those are just major, major dollars.
Okay, so everyone go and work at Oregon or Washington.
I swear to God. Could you imagine 400 new faculty staff positions in 4 buildings off one gift?
Wow.
You know, it's ridiculous. It's just unbelievable. My alma mater has taken to endowing the football coach and the basketball coach. You know, the coach at the school that produces the most revenue for the university of anybody else, and somebody who just wants access to the locker room gave him $15 million to endow the coach's position. So the people with money are getting giant pieces of money. But meanwhile, only 8.3% of alumni last year made a gift to alma mater. And that's down from 14% in 2001. So it was cut in half in a very short period of time. And then millennials, 75%, they don't see their alma mater as a charitable cause. They see it as a transactional manner. But I paid for this, I paid for it. Like you might get a subscription, or you might go to the dentist and you pay for a service and you're done. You might go to the hospital and have your gallbladder removed. You pay for service and you're done. Or you might go to university education, you pay for it and you're done. And they don't realize the need for the money and the impact that giving is important, and then the need they have at universities. So that's the landscape. One more thing on that. So within that landscape, there's an increase. The yellow number here, the yellow chart is public funding. So especially here at public university like U of L, the funding is up. I don't know where they get that rise there. There's a blip there, because I don't know of any state that's increasing the public funding to higher ed. But this is the reliance on fundraising at the same time. And it's changed a lot. 20 years ago, 30 years ago, the private schools did the fundraising, and public schools were well funded by the states, and they didn't need to do fundraising. And that's changed. So take U of L as an example, as the money from the state has decreased, the university is forced to act more like a private university than a public when it comes to development and fundraising. And they're not doing the same thing, so it's making the landscape even tighter for everybody to get to work together. And then this is President's steps that they've taken to reduce net costs in 2014. 94, there's 395 presidents surveyed, 94%. They come out and they say, okay, this year we need money, go raise some more. And it's not like, okay, yes, yeah, sure. You know, we had 12 donors we didn't talk to last year, we'll go get them this year. You know, increase revenues or increase, my copy and paste is instituted new. Instituted or increased, my copy and paste didn't work on that one. But those are other things. So there's stats for you there. But anyway, fundraising was where all that had to happen. So here's the book, the Crawford chapter, and Dr. Parton gave me the chapter to read. It was accurate. I thought it was very process oriented. That guy has never asked for a dime in his life. I don't know if you all, I'm not sure the whole book is that way, but not being critical, I mean, it was accurate, and he was correct.
Different people write different chapters, so.
Okay, and I'd love to find out who he is, because he, I recognize some of the people he quoted, or some that he referenced, are names that I've seen in the business before. But to think that the process he started off by saying you had to have, you had to staff your office and then establish a database. Well, you can't establish a database until you have donors. To me, it should have been this part here on top and coming down. I thought he had it upside down. But it wasn't inaccurate, and there was good stuff throughout it. Some of it was very simplified. So what I'm going to do is, and I didn't want to spend the whole class talking about the book, because I think that's kind of boring, because you all are probably tired of the book. It's the end of the semester, you're probably tired of it too. But I'll make 3 points on it, and then tell you what I thought. If you all read it, he had a piece on writing the institutional case for support. And it sounded to me like he's talking about a strategic plan. He says to go ask for money, you need to have the board and the president give a strategic vision for the school. Well, that's great. I mean, you know, U of L has a strategic vision to become a leading metropolitan research university. Well, that doesn't help you one bit when you're trying to raise money for a faculty chair in the School of Ed, you know, or a scholarship fund for, you know, that's funding your internship or something. It doesn't channel down. He was way up here in big picture. So when I think a case for support, I think of two things. I think if you're going to raise money, and ask money in development, your idea has to be the biggest, the best, the first, or the only. And these are my thoughts. That if you have a chance to give me $10,000, I'm not going to say, can you give me $10,000 for the same thing we've done all year long? You're going to say no. When I worked here in development, this is a true story. I was doing the annual fund letters, and I went to the accounting department. Anybody in the accounting department here? I don't know. I asked them, what do you want to write your letter to the annual fund this year for? And what did you all do that's good this year? And he said, like, we've joined 175 other schools in doing online CPA practice. I'm like, whoop-de-doo, you know, come on. Like, you're going to get your donors really excited. You're 1 out of 175 now. You know, and I went to I think it was a sociology professor. He was wanting to write a letter, and the chair of the department, or whatever, and I asked him what he wanted to write for. He goes, I wanted to ask our alums to help me pay for my annual conference. I'm like, so those aren't cases for support. You know, it's like, if you're going to give money and make a difference, you want to change, you want to move the needle. You want to have, if maybe not the biggest in the world, but the biggest in the region, the biggest at the school, or the biggest in the department plan, the best, whatever. You want to have the first or the only. And think of the things that have raised, you know, I forgot what Phil Knight gave $500 million to Oregon for, but I bet you it's the only place like in the entire world. You know, he's got something unique and big for it. And then I think giving has to change lives or save lives. Now, saving lives, with the U of L example, you have the university hospital and you have some faculty that are doing research, but I think what we do is we change lives. And I think in higher ed, I think that's what we do is change lives. And you have to tell your donors and show the donors when they give to higher ed how they're changing lives. And that's such a key thing. And I don't think Crawford touched on that at all. That to make this work in development, you got to change a life. And even a small bit, you got to move that needle. And you got to change your life. So Crawford talked about aligning prospect interests with institutional needs. And he went way deep into how talking to the president and the strategic blah, 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 blah. And it was all right. I think the key thing here is you have to look at, you have your prospect, you have your donor, you have your person who's engaged, and you have the program, you have the university, you have the school, you have the unit. And you define, in most cases, what is the prospect is interested in that flows to that program. That flows through both. What are they interested in? And then sometimes, like you probably see in the news, we just opened a brand new beautiful building in the front of Bellarmine. We're going to McGowan Hall. It's gorgeous. We just finished raising the money for it. About $24 million, we're all done. That was a program. That was a need the university had. And I had to go to prospects and talk to them why it was important to do that. And a lot of folks did give obligation, duty. They knew that the university needed it. We're growing. They needed the space. But almost, I don't think any of those donors is thinking right now going, I can't wait till the next building comes around. You know, their love is given to a scholarship fund or giving to, you know, to endow professorships or, you know, we're really big on first generation at Bellarmine. 40% of our students are first generation. They really love to give the funds that help with first generation retention. So there's where you have to find the prospect and give their needs and find the program, or the program that goes back up to the prospect. And you got to find that match. And sometimes there's not matches. You might have a prospect that has all the money in the world, and he comes to Bellarmine and says, I'm gonna give you $10 million, and you're gonna do aircraft engine repair. Well, it's not gonna fit. It just doesn't make sense to us. But the same person walks in and says, here's $5 million for a chair in Shakespeare Studies. Well, I can honestly say Shakespeare Studies is not on our strategic plan. But it could be really fast. That would fit right into what we do with Little Western University of Bellarmine. And we could have the best Shakespeare chair in the region, maybe even the nation, with that money. So you could make that prospect fixture program. So I think that's how, I think that kind of angle is how you determine institutional needs with what a prospect or donor wants to do. And then the third one down here that I want to highlight is stewarding. And I think from here I'm going to take it to where my thoughts on development alumni look like. And I think it's all about stewarding your donors and your prospects and making them feel they're important. So what is development? Is it all about the process of asking for money? And I always ask, my friends will say sometimes, did you reach your goal today? I think they think I'm in this boiler room with the phone smiling and dialing the whole time, And it's not, trust me, it is goals. It's goal oriented. You have to hit a number. You have different targets you got to hit. And it's tough. It's like sales, but it's not sales because there's no quid pro quo going on. If I'm the regional guy for Sprint, and my boss says, you got to sell 10% more plans. Well, in theory, we can go out and see 10% more people or whatever, prospects, and sell more plans, But sometimes if they say, Glenn, go out and raise 10% more money, if I don't have that prospect developed, it might not happen within, and especially at big dollars, your donors don't care about your fiscal year. If I'm asking you for $1 million, it depends on, is your will written yet? How does your stock portfolio look? Did that real estate you're going to sell yet? Is that partnership you're in paying out money yet? And that doesn't depend on my fiscal year. But the board, the trustees, wants that fiscal year dollars in. So it's not just asking for money, it's about a lot of stuff. And so what I said is about engaging and recognizing. And this is our annual dinner, we call it it's called Night of Nights, for the Bellarmine Nights. So we have a night where we night a night, and you play the fun as much as you can. And they wear robes and they get knighted, okay? And then this is a woman, Angela Mason, who grew up in the west end of Louisville, went to Bellarmine on her own dime, worked her way through, ended up in DC, made millions of dollars in the technology business, formed her own company twice, sold it twice, retired at the age of 47, and now she's a philanthropist, and she got her 99 award. She's fantastic. A donor who is truly a friend of mine. I have 2 kids live in DC. When I go to DC, I go see Angela too, and it's a relationship. And she got the award. The room is all donors that people who gave $1,500 or more for the year get invited to dinner. So the room is all of our donors as a thank you for their support. So it's engaging, it's recognizing. So that was 2 years ago. This is this year's. A guy named Brad Ray got the single award. Now the problem with this is that, and this is where we got fixed things in development, is I got 6 white guys here, but and that's what you have a lot of times. But these people represent about $20 million development. Now for us, that's big money. That's big money. Some of our top donors, these are all former Knights, and they all came on stage. So they came back to the dinner every year. They're engaged. We're thanking them. They get thanked again. They get brought on stage and thanked. So I think that's what it's. This is in the big picture, because I could think of this actual picture to put on here, but this matters at the $10 and the $100 level as well. So what I think it's all about, as opposed to what Crawford told you it was all about, because I think it's 3 I's. It's about finding their interest, getting their involvement, and that becomes investment. And you can't mix it up. I can't say, hey, you're a Bellarmine class of 2000, and I heard you have a company, can I have $10 million? It doesn't happen that way. What happens is you develop a relationship, and most of the best gifts that I've gotten, the donors thank me. Because they want to do it. When you get to the point, they want to make the gift. They want to invest, they want to be part of it. So, formatically, where it all starts is in alumni relations. An advantage we have is that we know, for the most part, when you're talking alumni fundraising, you know who your prospects are. Your alums, okay? They all come out. The bad part of this business is that you have a limited number of prospects. Because quite honestly, the alum from Wake Forest doesn't really care. The alum from UK doesn't care. Until they become, like at Bellarmine, we talk about that every city like us that we want to be like, Charlotte, Nashville, Atlanta, Chicago, every city of substantial size and stature has a public university and a private university that are both good and strong. And U of L has attained that, and we're attaining that same thing to be the private university that can be the yin and the yang to each of what they can both offer. Publics can do so much. They have giant, even in budget cut years, there's massive resources here to get things done. But there's also like the Titanic sometimes. They see the iceberg, but it's sailing. And we're more like a small ship, a yacht maybe. We can't carry as much, we can't do as much, but we can turn that boat real fast. We can start a program real fast and stop a program real fast. And a place like U of L can't do that very fast or slow. So alumni are important. We engage them in lots of ways, through social events, through athletic events, through spiritual events, educational events, service events, cultural events. Are you all undergrads from Louisville or other places or all over? Or? So do you get your emails from your alumni association? They talk about tailgater, they might have a little lecture series, they might have come to the basketball game, they might have a service trip to Appalachia. Homecoming's one. Yeah, speakers coming, the speaker series, they invite you to that. So we don't just engage alumni to get their money, we engage alumni to make them part of the university. Because the university is prospective students, it's students, it's the faculty and staff that make it happen, and it's the alumni. And it's a very organic, large organization, and it's more than the snapshot that's here right now. You guys will graduate, be gone. You're still part of the university. There'll be another whole cohort in here taking this class 3 years from now. The same class will be happening. That's the fun part of working at the university. It's the same 20 to 24-year-olds every year. They all go away, but the new ones come in. It's always the same age. It's like you're like in this time warp or something, But we want to engage. We want to engage our alums. We want to make you part of the university and have you take part. Come back and mentor the students. Be part of it, and ultimately, giving is a big key. Now, from that first slide, 8.4% are giving. So you got to engage early on. But it's also a university wouldn't be who we are without engagement and without the alums coming back. Even if Phil Knight went to Bellarmine and then completely endowed us forever, and I didn't need to fundraise another dime, we would still have a huge alumni department to engage alums back in Life University. We do mentoring, they do giving presentation, they get engaged with students. We're working a lot of that at Bellarmine with mentoring and just trying, it's so important now to have undergrads get jobs when they graduate from school, so we're working with our alums to do that. So what are donors looking for? I think, and I could do a whole thing on alumni relations, but I don't have a clock out, but I'll be careful now. They're looking for three things. I get this from a research group we use, the Educational Advisory Board. They want compelling ideas, transformative impact, and credible connections. So back to, I've covered the idea thing. They want new and original and compelling ideas. They want to give us something that's biggest, best, first one. They want to have an impact. They want to see what they're doing is changing a life or saving a life. They want to make sure, they don't want to give $100,000 for a new environmental science lab and nothing ever come out of it. They want to see it do something, change something, make something. They want to see their money, their investment, they want an ROI on their gift. And then credible connections, more and more, especially the higher you go, they want engagement. In my dad's generation, my mom's generation, they might give and then walk away. Donors now want to be involved. They want to be around, they want to stay engaged. Runs into some problems. Sometimes you have donors who have very strong political leanings left or right. They want to stay engaged in a certain program, and that can cause some real problems. We work really hard on creating a firewall at Bellarmine and explaining to the benefactors they can't do that. And the picture of those guys, the guy on the right, this guy named Joe Clayton, who's a fantastic guy, but he's very conservative, and he's given Bellarmine a lot of money. And one of his funds is for an assistant professorship in the School of Communications, and he gave it about 8 years ago. Back when it was the guy, Michael Moore, the journalist who did all those real left. He did I forgot what was the one he did that got everybody all fired up. Was it on
Fahrenheit 9/11, right?
Or something? Yeah, whatever. He looked at me and said, "If you put Michael Moore in that position, I'll never give him a dime to Bellarmine." I'm like, "Well, Joe," I said, "You can't tell us that." But I said, "Well, do our best. And all so, please don't hire flaming liberal for that job. You know, it's like go center. But you know, so you got to find that middle ground somewhere. But they want to be engaged. And he's incredibly engaged. He called me today. Something he's from Indianapolis. He hosts an event for alums and prospective students. He wants that access. He wants to be engaged. So I think that's what we're looking for. So, some lists of things, types of gifts. So let's talk about giving and what it looks like. Some nuts and bolts. In the biggest picture, there's three kinds of gifts. There's an annual gift, there's a major gift, and a planned gift. Okay? An annual gift, and I'm going to go through each of these a little more. Annual gift is when the phone-a-thon calls you, or the PC note comes, and you send $25, or $100, or $1,000. But it's constant support of the university, and you give every year. Major gift is when you've been cultivated and worked along, and then you make a big gift. Okay, so different schools have different definitions. U of L major gift's probably $20,000. At Bellarmine's more like 10 or more probably. It depends. 25, yeah. It depends on what your quantity is, and what if it's in a place like Duke, it's probably $100,000. I mean, who knows what it is. And then planned gifts. Planned gifts are gifts that are part of your estate, that are gifts of securities in your will trust, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then they come from, this is basically how they come in. They come in from individuals, from people, you and me, corporations, either from a grant, LGD makes a grant for something, or matching gifts. General Electric employees get their gifts matched 1-to-1. So the corporation gives their money through their employees' gifts. If you guys ever get a job with a matching gift company, make sure you take advantage of it with any gift you give, because you can double your money with every organization you're involved in. It's a key thing. I mean, like a GE gives away hundreds of millions of dollars a year to their employees' causes. Foundations, you hear about them more, private and public foundations, and then in-kind gifts of property, gifts of maybe, we had a gift of property, so we had recently met, and is a very wealthy person, had given a lot of money to Ohio State, but had gotten engaged with us and saw the difference that a place like Bellarmine makes. Her husband had passed away, she's about 90 years old, they got all kinds of money. And, they had a lake house in North Carolina that she couldn't make it there anymore, and she gave to Bellarmine $2 million. And she wanted to see a difference. Now we steward her and show the difference it's made and how we're spending the money. So that'd be an example of an in-kind gift. So annual gifts, they support the current unrestricted needs of the university, unit, or school. That's basically what an annual gift is. So the university uses them for student support. The School of Ed will use them. Maybe this program within the School of Ed might use it for different things, for student assistance. Maybe there's a trip to give students a chance to go on a trip. Maybe it's for classroom technology, different things. That's what the annual fund supports. It can be restricted quite often. A great example here is people to the Carter Athletic Fund. Those are restricted annual gifts. Yes?
I just wanted to go back to the lake house. So can I ask, how are you using that?
We haven't sold it yet. It's in the market.
You were going to sell.
But
I was just trying to make the connection from Bellarmine to...
Yeah, it's on the market. We just got it. It's in the market.
So you're going to use the fund?
And we'll use the funds then, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody know what a Jim Barnum home is, those log homes? You see them on the side of the road sometimes? This is the world's largest Jim Barnum home. So if you want to spend $2 million at Lake House in North Carolina, you got to make sure you really want a big, big log cabin.